Hi, Brian James at Micro Four Thirds Guy, and in this video I'm going to be telling you how you can have a multiple strobe light set up for your studio for less than £150. Hi, Brian James at Micro Four Thirds Guy here. Once again, great to see you on channel. Thank you very much before we start off for all of you who have subscribed. If you haven't subscribed up to now, hit the little subscribe button below, really appreciate that, and the bell beside the blue bell, because that'll give notifications whenever I upload a new video. And to those who've enjoyed it, please give me a thumbs up. That gets YouTube to use its algorithms to spread it to more people so they can see the videos. And the final thing, and don't get sponsored for these videos, if you get the chance and you fancy buying me a cup of coffee, there's a little PayPal link. Anything you donate on that would be really appreciated. It helps me make these videos in the future for you. Well, it's been an interesting couple of days because, as you can see, I've now had my post-lockdown haircut. I don't look like a long-haired hippie anymore. It feels rather strange having short hair. I also have had my first professional studio shoot for 18 months. 18 months it has been since I've been doing that. So I thought I'd bring some of the results to you with this, and it's been interesting for me because the last studio shoot I did using Strobes was getting up for 2 years ago, and that was using my Canon 5D. And that was marvellous. The last Micro Four Thirds studio shoot I did was using constant light and LED lighting. But I had a shoot, and it was a straightforward one. Had to be compliant with all the social distancing regulations and all the masks and things. So I needed to get the client in, shot, and out very, very quickly. And I wanted to be able to do that using inexpensive equipment. But that gave me a bit of a problem. I didn't have access to my LED lighting, and all I had was my strobes. Now I use a lot of strobe lights. If I'm doing a commercial shoot, I could be using 15, 20 strobes. And I've got a particular brand I've been using for some time because they're inexpensive, they're very, very durable, they've never let me down yet. But I hadn't really thought about it until I was tasked with doing the shoot. How I'm going to use it on my Micro Four Thirds? Because they weren't specific to Micro Four Thirds. These were Canon system strobe lights. So I did a little bit of research online, and I found that these will work perfectly well on Micro Four Thirds. And the strobes I tend to use are these. These are the Yongnuo strobes. This is a 560 Mark IV. And the beauty of it is, it's a manual strobe. I'll just take this bottom part off. It's a manual strobe. It only has a single pin on the bottom, which means it works on any camera. What I would say is please, before you put any strobe, any accessory on top of the hot tube in your camera, there's multiple pins on there, switch your camera off, switch the accessory off, and then put it on, and don't switch them on until it's on and locked. You don't want them sliding contacts across. But that really works well. And I knew that Canon stuff will actually fit on top of the Micro Four Thirds, the Canon adapters on the Yongnuo stuff, because I did a bit of research online and found that they actually miss all the important pins and they don't tie up together. So you can actually get away with it. Be careful though, as I say, make sure your equipment's switched off. So that set me thinking. I've got two strobes to set up. I wanted to do a shoot for this person. They wanted a passport photograph first of all, which is a fairly straight on lighting, very flat lighting, but they wanted a photograph for their Instagram and for their LinkedIn account. And on those I tend to try and do something about a Rembrandt lighting. I also wanted to illuminate the background on the shot. So I needed a strobe to illuminate the background itself, and that was just a straightforward cloth background that I had. But I wanted to be able to illuminate the front with a Rembrandt type lighting. So what I needed on that was I needed some ways to modify the light, to soften it, because I didn't want a harsh light and harsh shadows on the person's face. I do like shadows. I think shadows are important to give character, but I didn't want that harsh light. So I wanted something to, a modifier to actually give a softer light. And by a softer light we need a big light source close in. So what I needed there was something like a shoot-up-through umbrella, but I also needed a stand to put the light on. I needed some way to support the flash gun for the strobe for the rear, so that it was illuminated, and to be able to control the two light sources separately. Now these are great. With this, they come in a little bag. You also get a little stand, and this will fit under the stand, the treat, Works marvellous. So this is marvellous. Stick it on the table. I could illuminate my background to stop spill. I could just put a little flag, which is a piece of cardboard taped on the side to stop spill from behind. So this went pointing to behind the subject. I needed one for in front. Now those little 560s are superb. They cost about £50 each. Now when you consider that the OEM Canon ones are costing about £400 to £500 for an index of about 60. They've got a flash index, a light index of about 60. You're talking about a tenth of the price. As I say, I use a lot of these because of that reason. I can actually get 10 of these for one of the original manufacturer's ones. And when I'm taking a photograph of something like a commercial shoot inside an aircraft hangar, I'll use 10, maybe 15 of these with the light bounced off the wall to fill the whole area up with light. So they're really, really effective for that. I need to be durable, I need to be reliable. But the thing is that if I do break one, it's £50 as opposed to £500. Big saving. So how do we trigger these? How do we get this so that the off-camera flash, whether it's on a lighting stand pointing down through a shoot-through umbrella or behind, how do we get it so that it triggers from the camera, whether it's the Olympus or whether it's a Lumix that we shoot on? So the beauty with the 560s is they have a built-in receiver, wireless receiver, and they'll work up to about 100 meters away. That's 300 feet. So we've got the ability to have a signal which will reach about 300 feet away. They'll work on any one of 8 groups on there, which are pre-assignable in the transmitter and in the flash, and also you can get them assigned off to 4 different channels. So you could have your rear light on one channel and your foreground light on another channel and adjust the power separately. Now, the simplest way to do them, 2 flash guns, by the way, we're talking about £100, £50 each. I've seen them on eBay, and I've done a little bit of research on eBay just to see what's there. £50, fabulous. We also can buy 2 of these. These are the RF603Cs for Canon. Use the Canon system, not the Nikon. They've got different pinouts, and the Canon ones do work on these. But these, £25 for 2. Now these are just a dumb radio transmitter. As soon as the camera fires, it'll fire the flash off. However, for about the same price, you can buy one of these. These are the 560TX. It's a matching system, works on the same system as the flash guns, but this one you can actually adjust both the zoom and the power rating of individual flashes on the groups from here. So instead of having to walk backwards and forwards, you can easily set them up on here to get your exposures right. So one of these, £25 from eBay, fantastic. 2 flash guns, £50 each, that's £100. So we're talking £125 up to now. For the rear flash, I just put it onto a table behind, a small table. It was out of sight, it was fabulous. Didn't need anything to stand for that because I used the built-in base on the flash gun. Like for the Rembrandt, I needed some sort of stand, and I also needed some sort of light modifier. Now the ideal thing for that is there are stands for about £20 which come with a cold shoe, so that the flash will fit onto it. Doesn't have any connections, it's not a hot shoe, but it uses the standard shoe mount to fit the flash on, and you can, with an adjustable head, you can move it and lift it up to get it above the subject. But by putting an umbrella into that, for $9.99 I think I saw an umbrella, for $9.99 you've got an umbrella which you can actually then shoot through. I love shoot through umbrellas, you can do so much with them, and by using that you can either shoot through or reflect back from it, and that gives you the ability to give a really nice soft light. You can have it just out of shot, so it's just above the shot, facing down 45 degrees for the height, 45 degrees in front. You can get a wonderful lighting, you can get the nice triangular shape on the cheek as you move your lighting around, all the things that you need for portrait lighting. You can do that with a shoot through umbrella, and it gives you the ability to do so much on it. You can change the power so that the background, you can set the background temperature, the background intensity different to the foreground. If you're shooting on a white background, for instance, you want it about a stop and a half brighter than the subject. For the background I was using, I didn't want it that bright because it was a nice texture background, but I still needed it lit, and it was about a stop darker than the foreground. It's just the way that I did it. The Micro Four Thirds, because of mirrorless cameras, you've got to be a little bit savvy. There is a switch connection in the menus on both the Lumix and the Olympus to allow the electronic displays not to follow the true exposure. So what I do is I tend to set my speed to the maximum sync speed. On the Micro Four Thirds, I found is around about 3/20th of a second. Then I set my aperture to give the depth of field that I require, and I set my ISO usually to about 200. So the reason for that is, by shooting without the strobes in a normal room, even with room lighting on, at ISO 200, 3/20th of a second, and usually about an f4, an f2.f4, depends on which lens you're going for and what you want to shoot. You'll find that without the strobes, it'll be a black display. That's great. You're not using the ambient lighting at all. So all your lighting is going to come from the strobes, and that gives you control. If you go faster than 3/20th of a second, you lose sync and you tend to get the black bar across the display as the shutter's starting to close. But I tend to find about a 3/20th or slightly less is even better. And the beauty on the Micro Four Thirds is you can get up to that speed. On my 5D Mark II, I was shooting at 160th of a second, which was the fastest sync speed I can do. So at 3/20th of a second, f4, f2.8, and ISO 200 in a normal room without the strobes on, it's blackness. It's wonderful. So you've still got enough ambient light to see, but you haven't got enough to actually register. Just what you need. How I did the shot, I got my camera system set up first. As I say, I was a little bit nervous because I'd never actually shot this on Micro Four Thirds, and I'd never thought about it until I got the booking, and I had 2 hours to work it out. But by getting this together, I got a family member who's obviously in my bubble. I got them in the place, marked off the floor ready, got the background ready, and I did a few test shots, got my exposures right by adjusting on the TX, on the 560 TX, by adjusting the light. I didn't need to keep on going and adjusting the strobes and maybe knocking them out. I could do it all on the back of here. I put a nice wide zoom on so that my light filled up the background nicely on the rear strobe, and I zoomed in nice and tight on the front strobe so it was only illuminating the face and shoulder area. And again, that was done on here with the built-in receivers in the 2 strobes. So we're talking with the stand, the umbrella, 2 strobes and the transmitter, less than £150. I got some fantastic results out of that. So good that they're up and working straight away. For the passport shot, I put the stand straight behind the camera, so it was very front on. Again, I used the shoot through umbrella, and that gave a very even front light. No character to the face, but that's what you want on a passport photo. For the LinkedIn shot, which was also being used on the Instagram, I used a little bit of sort of standard Rembrandt lighting and got that 45 degrees, so you get a little bit of shadow and a little bit of feature on the face and some depth to it. Really, really good, because I've got my light levels just about right in the camera in the first place. When I put it in the Lightroom, I had no real adjustments on that. I had no worry about shadows or highlights because I'd done the homework in the first place. All I need to do is a little bit of work to take some natural skin blemishes off to give a good look on that and to make sure that the skin tone was right. You can don't forget to set the white balance to flash before you start off. That's going to make things an awful lot easier, because then you're not messing around with white balance afterwards. I think the whole shoot my client was in for less than 5 minutes. It was great. Most of the time I spent with the client was at the front door, chatting to them, telling them what I wanted to do. So you're in a nice outdoor space, no problems about the lockdown on that. They came in, the idea was to make as little time as possible with the mask off, because obviously you can't shoot them with the mask on. It's not really very good on a passport photo when all you can see is the eyes and this mask in front. So trying to minimise the time that I had was great. So I briefed them beforehand. They came in, they were already relaxed because I'd talked them through what I was going to be doing, did the shots, moved the strobe from the passport shot to the Rembrandt, and the whole shot, I think it was, if it was more than 5 minutes, it was no more than a couple of minutes more than that. It was literally a 5-minute shoot. By the time they got back home, I'd already processed in Lightroom the photographs, emailed them the proofs to them, and they had them sitting there ready, finished for them. Superb. So can you shoot for less than £150 on a multi-light strobe setup on Micro Four Thirds? Of course you can. I'm going to drop the links for the equipment that I use below. As I say, all the prices I've got from eBay, it's not rocket science. Just have a look and see the prices on that. I'm not sponsored by Yongnuo, I'm not sponsored by Lumix or by Olympus, and what I've given you, the information I've given you will work on either Lumix or Olympus, so don't worry about that so long as it's Micro Four Thirds, and also works equally as well on Canon. Don't be afraid of manual strobes. Don't be afraid of manual flash. It is straightforward and easy. You don't need a fancy light meter. If you've got one, it makes things easier, but just use your eyes, get your exposure right, and get it so that the photo is good in shot, in camera as you take it. Do a little bit of setting up. It's like anything. The preparation is the thing that makes the pudding perfect. So if you do your preparation, you get your light balance right, get somebody to sit down first, you can have a great professional shoot. By the way, the photographs within 2 hours were actually sitting on the person's LinkedIn profile. Superb. You know, you can't ask for more than that. And that was a great income source straight away for a studio shoot on 18 months. So whatever you want to do, give it a try. You've got the ability with a digital camera to take as many shots as you want. I even use rechargeable batteries in this, so if you use, because it takes four AA batteries, you can use rechargeable ones. So once you've got them in, you're not even going through batteries in that. It doesn't cost you for more shots because it's digital. Enjoy yourself, play with it. Studio environments really are good fun. If you've enjoyed this video, as I say, give me a big thumbs up. I do these because I enjoy photography, because I enjoy cameras, and I enjoy making images. And as I say, I'm not sponsored, I'm not monetized, so if you do get the chance to give me a copy, there's a PayPal link. Thank you very much, and thanks to all those who have up to now. But more importantly to me, give me a subscribe, follow the videos in future. I've got lots more content coming up, and if there's any suggestions that you've got, leave a couple of comments. If there's anything you've got in so far as Micro Four Thirds and using in normal shooting, we're not going for the super high end. I'm aiming towards you, the normal photographer, the recreational photographer, I've heard it called, or somebody who enjoys the photography. You don't have to be professional to get professional results, and you don't have to spend a fortune to do it too. So if you get the chance, leave us a subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, give a big thumbs up. That'll get YouTube to spread it around. My name is Brian James, the Micro Four Thirds guy. I look forward to seeing you soon. All the best.